Emperor Hadrian ruled from 117 to 138 AD. Hadrian was noted for his complex personality, his fondness for poetry and the arts in general, and his deep admiration for Greek philosophy and culture. Hadrian was known for his public speaking, and some historians considered him one of the most talented men in Roman history. Hadrian was born on January 24, 76 AD in Italica, a Roman colony in Hispania Baetica, which is now in the Andalusia region of Spain. Hadrian's family gave rise to several soldiers who had renowned military careers. Hadrian's father was also an important soldier and provided a good education for his son. However, when Hadrian was only 10 years old, his father passed away. Following a Roman tradition, where a male guardian was to be appointed when a child's father died, Hadrian's father's cousin was chosen for this task. The name of Hadrian's new guardian was Trajan, who later became one of the key Roman emperors. Hadrian was educated in various subjects common among young aristocrats of the time. He was so keen on learning Greek literature that he was nicknamed Little Greek. Barely old enough, Hadrian accompanied Trajan on his military campaigns. Hadrian's initial years in the army were not significant, as the young man liked to lead a life with few responsibilities, preferring to go out hunting or enjoy other luxuries of civilian life. During Hadrian's second term as tribune, the frail and elderly reigning emperor, Nerva, adopted Trajan as his heir. When Nerva died in 98, Hadrian rushed and personally revealed to Trajan the news of his new position as emperor. With this, Hadrian was able to draw Trajan even closer, something that would bear good fruit for his life. Trajan spent most of his reign fighting in foreign wars. Therefore, his wife, Pompeia Plotina, played an important role in the empire's administration. Plotina, who had no children, had developed an affection for Hadrian, treating him as part of the family. By 114 AD, Hadrian held a key position as governor of the important military province of Syria. There is no doubt that Hadrian had a relevant status during Trajan's reign. Still, there were no signs that he could become the imperial heir. When Trajan died in 117, he left a letter where he named Hadrian as the next emperor of Rome. Many senators were against Hadrian keeping this position. They claimed that Trajan's widow, Pompeia Plotina, had forged the letter to try to keep herself in power, perhaps ruling through Hadrian. The senators also objected to the idea of having a man with a foreign accent ruling the empire, as Hadrian retained the accent of his homeland in Spain. Hadrian was pressured by Plotina to marry the young Vibia Sabina. The marriage took place for purely political reasons, as Sabina did not seem to like the marriage from the start, and Hadrian preferred the company of men. Although their marriage could not be considered a success, his reign was nothing short of spectacular. When he assumed power, Hadrian immediately ordered the distribution of money to the people of Rome, guaranteeing all soldiers an extra bonus. He also canceled the debts of all people who had borrowed money from the imperial treasury. Hadrian also believed that it was important to be modest. For example, when he took part in military campaigns, he ate the same food as his soldiers, slept in common tents, and marched with them instead of on horseback. Although Hadrian was a talented poet and musician, he rarely displayed his gifts in public. Hadrian was also one of the most creative architects who ever breathed into this world. However, he refused to accept credit for many of his works. He even put other people's names on the buildings he designed, and only in recent years have historians discovered that Hadrian was responsible for the Pantheon, one of the most important buildings in the development of world architecture. Hadrian was a man with a passion for travel and aimed to personally visit the many lands and peoples of his empire. These far-reaching travels began with a visit to Gaul in the year 121 and would end 10 years later on his return to Rome in 131 AD. No other emperor saw much of his own empire as Hadrian. From the far west of Spain to the far east of the Turkish province of Pontus, from the far north of Britain to the far south of the Sahara Desert in Libya, Hadrian saw a little bit of everything. These trips were not simple tours. Hadrian sought to gather information about the varied problems of the provinces. Hadrian's construction projects are perhaps his most lasting legacy. He ordered the construction of a long defensive wall in Britannia to prevent invasion by the Picts from the north. This structure is the famous Hadrian's Wall in northern Britain, and parts of it still stand. Hadrian established cities, built monuments, improved roads, and strengthened the infrastructure of provinces throughout the Balkan Peninsula, Egypt, Asia Minor, North Africa, and Greece. Hadrian's reign was marked by the absence of major military conflicts. War nearly broke out with Parthia around 121, but the threat was averted when Hadrian negotiated peace. In Judea, Hadrian's anti-Jewish persecutions led to the huge Jewish revolt between 132 and 135 AD. The crushing of the Jewish revolt resulted in Hadrian's decree banning Jews from living in Palestine, whose name was changed to Syria-Palestine. Jerusalem was destroyed and rebuilt as a pagan city. Hadrian's marriage to Sabina produced no children. At age 60, Hadrian was in poor health. Knowing that death was near, Hadrian searched for an heir. He chose Antonius Pius, a highly respected senator, provided that Antonius, also childless, would adopt Hadrian's promising young nephew, Marcus Aurelius. The latter would become one of the most important Roman emperors. After spending agonizing months, Hadrian, a victim of illness, died at the age of 62 on July 10, 138 AD. His remains were transported to Rome and buried in Horti Domitiae, near his nearly completed mausoleum. After the completion of Hadrian's tomb in Rome in 139, his body was cremated and his ashes placed next to those of his wife Vibia Sabina. Thus ended the life of Emperor Hadrian, admired by many of his contemporary subjects, having left a valuable legacy in Roman history.